is open, so come on in. Sound check done, let's begin. Breaking news, the guess is you. Streaming live for you to view. Open House the podcast. Open House the podcast. Oh.
It is a Thursday, everybody. You know what that means. It is time for Open House the podcast. I am Johnny Awesome with my co-host, and she absolutely is something. Summer something. She can't get in the circle. We are a full studio here. Let me switch this over to the other camera there. Boop, there we go. You can see we have a full room. We've got an exciting show for you guys. We've been hearing so many post stories. We had to tell these guys to shut it so that we could actually get it on the podcast. You guys are in for a treat and a ride, and hopefully we can hopefully we got, well, not hopefully. I know we're going to have some good stuff out of that. I was going to say, hopefully we end before they get so mad that we're in here for so long and yelling for so long. But welcome to Open House, the podcast. Two guests with us today, and it's funny because they both have first names. We're going to be talking about that as well. Returning guest, Jason Courtney, everybody.
Thanks for having me.
And brand new guest for the first time, okay, great. Adam Pauls. There it is. Yeah. Did you say boo? Did you say woo?
I said Adam.
Oh, Adam. I
didn't say boo.
Let's go. So we've got.
He's a lot bigger than me. I'm not booing him.
Yeah, no, especially the arms. In fact, you know what? Jason kind of already prepared you for this. Let's just start off talking about steroids.
Let's say TRT and peptides, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. No, this is going to be an awesome conversation. Jason brought you on, and we love to do is take stories and find success principles inside of them. So, we get a chance. That would be you. We get a. Hang on one second while we cut out the loop. There we go. We get a chance to meet you all for the first time here. So why don't you go ahead and give us a little rundown and synopsis. Who is this two-man name that I think should be an underwear model? Adam Pauls.
I'm just a regular guy, right?
Yeah, right. That's what everybody with a shady past says. There ain't nothing wrong, man. Just a regular guy. Yeah. I think I saw that on Penguin, the show on like the first scene. He's like, I'm just a regular guy.
By the way, a great show. I'm plugging it. Penguin's incredible.
I would recommend it. Yeah,
I'd smash that show if you guys recorded a movie of my life. Right?
Yeah, you think? Well, let's tell us about that.
So what do you want to talk about? Steroids?
No, we'll get into that.
We'll get into
that. The meat and potatoes of it. We're not even having an appetizer here, guys.
We're right into it. Well, let's start in the very beginning. You said you would smash that show. How do you smash the story of the Penguin?
Man, that's gonna be a tough one to.
Well, let's start with your. Oh, by the way, again, happy birthday!
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
you.
you.
So just found this out right before
it started.
We went live. I guess we were gonna get a little surprise, but they let it slip.
Yeah.
So happy birthday!
Thank you.
I can't believe you're spending it here with us. We feel special.
Jason.
Yeah.
We had a meeting, and I told him it's my birthday. His is coming up too, so.
Yeah. Cue the happy birthday music.
Yeah.
There's nobody cueing the music.
We'll put that in later.
I like how he's like, who's he pointing to?
I know.
Hello.
That's funny.
Wherever you're at right now listening to this episode, just go ahead and start singing happy birthday. I'm sure that he can feel it. But so let me ask you a question again. So, what is it that makes you make the statement, my life, if they made a show, would trump the Penguin?
Just everything I've been through in life, growing up, making everything on my own, creating everything on my own. I didn't have a handout, very ambitious, wanted to have the best life. I'm just me, right? So work hard, hustle as much as I can. As you know, I'm here with Jason. We like to work, fitness, health, just trying to make the best life possible. Coming from building everything yourself, coming from no money, it was very rough. But at the same time, obviously, you thought I was an underwear model, so being blessed with those looks, I guess, you can only imagine what I've been through in life. from
Well, yes, I can, and it doesn't seem bad. He's like, I'm gorgeous. You can only imagine what I had to go through.
there's a lot that entails with that, right? So,
Yeah, tell us about that. Were you a fat kid? Is it like, or were you
never.
always in?
No, I was always in shape.
He was born with abs. It was crazy.
You never looked like this.
I came out my mother's womb like this, right?
Oh,
So,
wow.
Yeah.
He already had like three
Slick back
contracts when he
hair,
was
Yeah.
in
gold
diapers.
chains
Beard.
on.
Yeah. I heard that's
no
how that
beard,
works.
but I was the pretty boy, clean shave.
Yeah.
Now you're getting older, you can't hide it,
Yeah,
right?
came out with tattoos, smoking. They're like, this kid's gonna be a badass.
I used to smoke when I was young.
Yeah.
I quit.
Good.
But yeah. What else? Would you guys want to give me some
Well,
subjects?
let's jump right into. Go ahead.
So if I could, I'll tell
Yeah.
you, a lot of people have a hard time talking about themselves. So
Yes.
I'm going to help them out just for a second here. So other than Johnny, as far you will never get a higher energy level in your life than Johnny Awesome. It's just not possible. But if there was a Johnny Awesome A and then a Johnny Awesome B,
It'd be Adam Awesome.
you've met your B.
Adam, awesome.
Adam's energy level is through the roof. Like this guy, honestly, it's first of all, it's got so many great parts of it because he is such he's who you see he is. He doesn't try to be anybody else. He's just a man of character, a good guy, hard worker. Sometimes you have to try to jockey to get a word in because he doesn't stop
up.
talking.
Yeah.
He loves to hear his own voice. I love
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
But no, it's very you two, man, in the same room. It's gonna get.
I was
ugly.
gonna
We're
say
there right now.
I know, right?
we're gonna get rolling then. I can imagine how this is gonna end.
But what's really neat, though, I'll tell you, is that he inspires a lot of people. Just because he's such a good guy, people come up to him, they think he's unapproachable, but he's not. He's like probably one of those down-to-earth people. Second of which, he lives what he preaches, right? He eats healthy. He does all the right things. I mean, he works 24 hours a day. He's got 6 companies that he's kind of juggling. He's got all these things he's doing. He just is the kind of person that most people gravitate to.
Yeah.
I don't stick to one thing. I got too much energy. I can't sit still. If you
Yeah.
give me a 5-minute break, I don't know what to do. I'm like, okay, I got to do something.
Yeah, we're on 10 minutes with him. He'll start walking around the office and he's gone. I don't know how to say it, but we'll lose him, and then at some point it'll just be the 3 of us. Okay?
Yeah, well, even sitting here before the show started, you were saying how your phone just goes.
Yeah.
Well, today's my birthday, so people are texting and calling.
Yeah.
me.
That's true,
Turn
too,
that
yeah.
silent, so that's gonna
Awesome.
happen.
So when did you know? I guess so. Walk us through a little bit of your life because it sounds like there's a story to be had there. When did you start to get the aspirations? Because obviously, entrepreneur, multi-business, thinking differently, active, action, impact type of person. Were you always that way? Like when you were 2, were you selling rocks out of your mom's backyard or what?
When I was in middle school,
Yeah.
I used to sell weed in school. Right?
Okay, so you started as a drug dealer. Okay.
I used to cut grass. I used to shovel snow. I used to sell cigarettes in school. I
Okay.
sell whatever I could to make $1. You
All
know?
right, yeah.
And then it turned into from that to sports. I'm super athletic. I'm good in every single sport. I'm an overachiever.
Modest is his biggest
Yeah,
quality.
good. I like that. Yeah.
It's just I always want to be the best. I don't know. It's just a quality I have. I always want to be better. I'm very competitive, and that carried on to as you get older with age. I want to have the best cars. I want to have the best clothes, the best jewelry. I want to look the best. I
Yeah.
want to talk the best. And here we are. I guess it just whatever I do, I always want to do better. I'm never content, or I'm never settled for what I have. I just
Yeah.
So I think what he's saying is this: is every day you can take a step forward to the dreams and become one step closer, or you can take a step back.
Yeah.
Which are you going to become today?
Yeah.
And he seems to be the one that takes a step forward every day.
It's the slight edge, right? Every
Yep.
decision you make is going to take you further towards or
Sure.
further away from your goals
You
and
make
dreams.
a lot of mistakes. You live and you learn. You only have 24 hours in a day, right?
Yeah.
So we all have the same 24 hours in a day. It just depends on what you do with your time. You
Yeah.
can't buy time. So
Yeah.
as you know,
But you can buy a Rolex.
You can't. We got. I have
There you go.
How did I
lots of
know?
those. Yeah.
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 So when did you so you were you literally born with that attitude, or was there something where you just
No, I was born with it.
Yeah.
Even as a little kid, I'd show you pictures. I'd slick back my hair with gel, and
Yeah.
I was always taking care. I
But
always take care
how
of
did you
myself.
did you watch something? Did you have a mentor of some sort when you were young that ingrained into you this is what
my
success
dad always
is?
Inspire
wore
you?
suits. He always drove nice cars.
Mm-hmm.
He
Yeah.
always dressed well.
Yeah.
Taught me to be proper and
Yeah.
things like
Yeah.
that. But just even though my surroundings, my friends, the people I grew up around, they were very successful. I wanted to be like them. I didn't want. I grew up from Madison Heights, which wasn't a very nice area, I guess, at the time, and a lot of people I went to school with didn't do anything with their life, and I didn't want to be like that. I wanted to be
Yeah.
better. I didn't belong there. I felt like, when everybody tells you, man, you're different. You don't belong here. You belong in Miami or you belong in LA. It's like, that kind
Yeah.
of sticks with you.
Yeah.
As maybe you're half Chaldean and
I
you grew up
do.
in Lake Orion and Sterling
Yeah.
Heights, you said, right? Where you feel like, you don't belong somewhere. Maybe you belong somewhere else.
No,
right?
I honestly, what you're saying, I can relate to those feelings a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so, just like I said, and, having to do everything on your own, figure it out. And I didn't graduate high school. I was 16 years old. I worked for my uncle doing mortgages. Told me, come work for me. You're going to make, I was kind of in the streets a little bit, getting in trouble. And
Yeah.
said, come work with me. You'll make 20 grand a month. And I was like, yeah, right. No way. I'm not going to make 20 grand a month. I made that my first day. I took like 20 applications for loans for leads on my first day cold calling, which probably were like 10 to 15,000 a deal, right? And every day I was hitting 20 plus a day and got in a crazy lifestyle pretty young. So
Yeah.
that then the mortgages hit shit when 2015.
Yeah, yeah, roughly.
And then I got into the cannabis world. My friends got me into that, so we started growing cannabis and getting into that business. I owned dispensaries, hydro stores, raising money. I had a lot of successful friends that, I'm ambitious. They would believe in me. They would put money into me, and that's kind of how I got started off here, just like I'm here with Jason. Started, I have a lot of people. I'm in the gym. Everyone comes up to me. They ask me, hey, what are you on? What do you take? How do you look so good? And I'm like a walking advertisement for this thing. So
Yeah.
I called Jason and said, hey, Jay, I met him from one of my other close buddies, Noah, that does real estate and appraisals. And he said, you got to meet Jason. He's the best guy. This guy's so good. He has a med spa. And I called Jason. I said, Jay, you don't know me, but, I'm a beast in sales. We got to team up. And first day I came, I probably think I put you in about 55 or 60 group chats with patients on the first day.
Oh, God, yeah. I was talking to people in Arizona, New York.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm talking to rappers. I'm like, I don't even know. I'm like, oh, my God, what?
Famous producers and
Yeah, it's
lots of
crazy.
different people. But yeah, I have a big network and, just trying to figure out how to, funnel all that in the right direction.
It's crazy, too, because I get, like, when someone calls you on your phone, right, and I know if, like, you put your picture on there so you can see.
Yeah.
Or they
The
send you their...
contact
Yeah,
photo,
whatever.
or you set yours.
Yep, exactly.
Yes.
And everyone is like, it's one beautiful person after the next. I'm like, what the heck is this, man? Like, I'm not even taking more calls now. This is ridiculous.
That is funny.
It's like, the women are, hey, Adam gave me your number. I'm like, first of all, it's my wife. I'm like, I don't want to say, this is not what,
It's all
this does not look
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Yeah.
look good at all.
Yeah, just all the relationships, family, friends, people.
I just want to
know.
say you're beautiful too, Jason.
I appreciate it. It's funny, because you said you don't belong here, LA, and well, I was out in LA. They said I didn't belong there. They sent me here.
They sent you-
We could have
said,
switched.
"Get out of
We could have
LA."
switched up. We'll trade one Jason Courtney for an Adam Pauls. They're gonna need some cash considerations and some more draft picks to get Adam.
So let me ask you this then, because now you've gone into something really interesting. So you've got a network. You're one of those, like, what is it, 2 degrees away from Kevin Bacon
It
guys.
is. He is.
Actually, can you get Kevin Bacon? Like, are you 1 degree away from Kevin? Are you the degree?
I don't know who Kevin Bacon is.
Perfect.
I don't either.
Oh, yes, I'm-
We're on the same page right now.
I don't
We're
actually.
on the same page.
Yeah. Well, it was a game back in the. I don't know if I don't
You
know.
guys
It's
didn't
just a
see
game.
Footloose.
No.
Well,
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
Kevin Bacon.
Oh.
He's the dancer.
Oh yeah.
okay.
And for anybody out there
You
that
didn't see
really like
Footloose?
that
Oh.
Footloose
This is an old-
version,
it's a-
I'm available. Just
I've
saying.
never actually seen Footloose. No, it's not. We watch different things, me and you. But I would. I just, you've always heard that, and it's the saying of you're 2 people away from meeting anybody in the world, right?
That is true.
Yeah.
That is true. I think I'm already there. I think I'm like 1 person away.
You are the
Maybe
person.
a half.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah,
Like,
so-
like who? Let me ask you a question. Like, can you name drop? Like, who's like the most famous person you have on your phone?
Jason Courtney.
It was. Now now you can put me in your phone.
Man, there's tons of them. I have from rappers to, producers, a lot of people in
Yeah.
the music world. So
Do you have P. Diddy on your phone?
I
Were
don't.
you his first call?
I don't have P.
Did he-
Diddy on my phone. No Diddy. No Diddy.
Why do you think his skin
Remember-
looks so oily?
It's hot in here. I'm sweating.
Remind me to edit that out for him to go, who's on your phone? P. Diddy. Oh, you were his first call? Yeah, that's why
yeah.
I'm on.
Yeah.
We'll edit that
he's
out good.
He's hoping that those documents don't come out.
Who, P. Diddy, who do you want as your first call? I want to call Adam. And Adam passes the phone to you. He's like, I can't help you here. No. That's
Hey, it's me, Jason.
right.
Jason Courtney here.
There's like 48, almost 4,800
Whoa.
contacts in there, and I restarted this thing like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
These are just all the ones.
Wow,
David
he
Hasselhoff.
really has
Yeah.
4,800
That's amazing.
contacts.
Yeah.
Nice.
So let me ask you, let's talk about that then for a second, because you figured out something that I think a lot of people either miss or they don't put enough effort into. And that is that life realistically is networking.
It's a network.
It's building relationships of people, not to use them, but to literally have relationships with people. And then later on down the road, you might be a connector for somebody somewhere.
That's what I do. I'm a networker, right?
Okay.
So it's like, you're as big as your network. So
Yeah.
the more people you know, you never know.
I don't know.
what
I've
you
been in
can
some.
utilize.
I've been in some small networks. That's still pretty big.
Well, no, that's everybody's different, right? So you are who you hang out with. You surround yourself with good people.
It's true.
You build networks, and it's just like anything else. You got a hammer. You got to know how to use it.
Yeah.
So you use these tools to put two and two together. You might know, what this guy needs that guy, and that guy needs this guy, and you put them together
Yeah.
and make deals, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of
That's a
what I
skill
do.
set. Being a connector is real. It's a real thing.
Yeah.
It's
I
a
mean,
lot of
I kind
work.
of feel like that's kind of what I am.
Yeah.
are.
You are.
I,
Yeah.
I would agree that. Yeah.
I've seen it happen in person. I've seen this sit down at a table with somebody and just be like, here's my list of contacts. Here's a guy that can help you here. Here's a guy that can help you here.
Yeah.
Even on the pod, you're doing it
You've
right now.
done it to me.
You just connected us.
Yeah,
just-
exactly.
You
I
do,
mean-
it, you do it without even knowing that you're doing it.
That's-
it
yeah.
is. You're right. It's a true
business.
skill.
He's a true businessman,
Yeah.
Jason, and he's smart. He's successful, obviously, basically utilizing these connections is very important in life for anyone.
Yeah.
Just if you ever want to grow, scale, and elevate your life, you got to really put in work, and you really got to be out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
The one thing I would say to that though too is that you have to realize the true value of life, and I know we all mention cars and things and stuff like that, but truly I can promise you that none of that makes you happy. It's a short-term thing that you enjoy, but then you want something new, you want something else, right?
I agree with that. That's something I've just learned.
So, but
right?
the thing is that is true, in my personal opinion, is that it's the friendships along the way. It's the people you put yourself around. It's the journey.
You got to have a purpose.
Yep, exactly.
You can have all this stuff to have a life, but then it all ends with a purpose, correct?
Yep, you're exactly right. So and I think being something bigger than yourself. I think
I learned a lot of valuable lessons over the last year or two.
Oh, yeah.
Just in the last year or two.
Yeah, just it's crazy. Even I was talking to Jay before. I was on a lot of peptides, steroids. I was working out. I was just I was just into myself and bettering myself and making myself better. And I started realizing, like, sometimes when you're already good, you want to be better, and you do all these things. They kind of take over, and then you start having other issues. You forget
Yeah.
about what's important in life, like what he's explaining to you. I have a girlfriend that I love, and I was not spending a lot of time into my relationship, doing other things, focusing on myself that really weren't important. And then you get on these, testosterone, steroid. I was smoking weed. Your mind doesn't think clearly, and you start forgetting, I guess, what's important. And then at the end of the day, people got to realize, sometimes you get where you're at, and you got to get off the stuff. You got to want to put time where it's important.
invest it where it's important.
Invest it where
in your
it's
family or
important.
friends.
You can't buy time, and sometimes you
Yeah.
make so many mistakes you can't take them back.
Yeah.
So there's always balance. You can't forget about balance. It's important to, maybe realize not to abuse a lot of things like steroids, peptides,
Yeah.
marijuana, or anything that you do in life. Too
Yeah.
much of is not good.
Yeah, it's the old adage we've all heard, from the old advice, right? Like, too much of something is never a good thing.
And it seems like this is what we live with every day. And I don't want to offend anybody, but you see somebody goes in for a little bit of facial work, and they get a different, almost like a dysformity. They keep going
They
too
get
far.
addicted.
Before you know it, their lips are out to here, their cheeks are they
Lioness.
don't look normal anymore. The same thing happens for bodybuilders, for people that
Yeah,
work out.
yep.
We see men and women, they get into this thing, and it almost becomes this like
Obsessive.
and then it becomes like narcissistic because it's all about that, and then it becomes even worse than that. It's body dysphoria, and it doesn't have to be anorexia. It can be. I mean, I got guys that are huge, and man, you're looking big. Oh no, man, I'm
Yeah.
small, and you're
Yeah.
like,
It's insecure. It comes from a lot of it comes from insecurities, right? So like someone wants to look better, maybe they had they're heartbroken before, and they're trying to overachieve for things that they didn't have in the past, and then you start realizing you put in the work yourself, it will work a lot better. You don't need to if you need to depend on something. That's when you should wake up and realize it's not good.
Not healthy.
Yeah, not healthy, because it never stops until sometimes it's too late, or sometimes people they never stop. And
so let me ask you a personal question, if you don't mind, and we can move on if you do. So what was that for you? Was it an insecurity? Like, why did you feel the need? Where'd that come from?
Growing up, trying to have things like basically. I wanted to be better than I was, right? I wanted to be more successful than I was. I wanted to have more. I felt like I was, good on one thing, but I wanted to have more money. I wanted to have this life for everyone to, wow, look at me, until you realize, like, wow, I'm okay. I don't need that stuff. So,
exactly.
As you get older, you grow up. Yeah, at least for me, I'm a person that doesn't understand all these things that I was told until I experience them, and then I understand, So growing up.
Lessons through life.
And it's just like, you realize a lot of things. I wish I would have listened to my parents about a lot of things they told me growing up.
Oh, isn't that funny?
Yeah.
You gotta tell my kids that.
Yeah.
They don't think I know anything. I get fact checked every day.
And it's true. And basically that answers your question is, I was an overachiever because I grew up with basically not having much money. I wanted to have that aspect, that void filled. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to fit in and blend in with all my other friends that were rich and successful that I didn't have. And it just it was like a competition. And I always have that, competitive side to me, because I'm just a competitive person in general. So you take that and you amplify it with testosterone and all these other things. Yep. It makes you like an alpha male, and you start having a different mindset,
Well, you think you're alpha.
Yeah, for
That's
sure.
That's the thing,
well,
is you're just in your head.
It's not actually, would you say that at that point in time, it's not actually you then?
Correct. You start, it's like your mind is blurred with all, everything I'm putting in my body and the thoughts, and then you start believing thoughts. It's kind of like a psychosis. You start believing your own thoughts, and smoking weed, and it makes you creative. I mean, do you smoke weed?
No.
You never smoked weed? Do you smoke weed?
No.
I do not.
You do not. So basically,
He says never.
Never.
Yeah, me neither. Never.
Yeah.
Never will.
So I quit. Obviously, I'm not going to smoke no more. But it made me overthink. It made me creative. It made me overthink. But then I started believing a lot of my thoughts. And then, when you get to stages in your life and it starts opening your eyes, you realize that this stuff's not good for you. It's not for you. Any of these.
I had to talk him off the I can fly theory.
Yeah.
He called me up like, Jason, you're not gonna believe this, but I can fly.
Was this a real thing? I was like, oh man.
I'm kidding.
I believe I can fly.
I would
I
wake.
believe I can touch the sky.
Somebody that called him. He's like, I got him in my phone too. Be like, I used to have 4,003 contacts. I've had to delete 3 of them. It was R. Kelly, P. Diddy, and Bill Cosby. They're no longer in my contact database.
Put in pops.
But I heard, not to get too far off contact, I heard you can. So what was the thing about Justin Bieber? Can you reach Bieber?
All the guys that wrote his music, all his producers, I work with a lot of them, and I have them. I had social media. That's another thing I deleted. I had
Interesting
40,000 followers on Instagram.
And
It was
You
pretty
deleted
incredible.
your social media, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was 39,999 young ladies.
Well, no, it wasn't all late. It was mostly just a lot of people.
and then you.
and then his mom.
At first,
And grandma.
I met this kid in Arizona.
Okay.
And he was singing. I thought it was Justin Bieber at the pool. Everybody started surrounding him. I said, wow, this guy's amazing.
Oh
and
my
it was just this young kid. I
gosh.
was on vacation in Scottsdale once a month for business, and I started going out there, and I know people in the music industry. So I contacted one of them, and I made him sing on FaceTime. And the guy's like, this guy's amazing. Fly him here. Let's sign him. Let's bring him here to work. And that's what I started doing. So I opened an Instagram account to kind of try to whore him out there to the world, to let them hear his music.
Yeah.
And it just started going
There's
viral.
other verbs that we could use.
Yeah.
No, it's cool. You're a music. Yeah, I got you. You're a talent.
I
pimp.
like
cool.
his
Yeah, so I was just trying to put
Yeah.
his music out there, and he's an amazing, talented kid. He's 22 years old, and every single person was just coming to my page and they were listening to his music and it was just going viral.
He is pretty cool. A young kid, right? But just
Yeah, I'm
he's
excited.
got it.
I'm excited to. You said you'll show us.
Yeah, his
later.
music's
Yeah.
amazing. So we made like 200 songs. I actually built 2 music studios. Spent probably 2.5 years of time, probably 300,000 in money into them, not including my time.
Yeah.
Made about 200 songs and met every type of whoever you can think of it. I just got into a business I knew nothing about. So I had to figure it out quick. So wake up in the morning, take my shot of testosterone, go to the gym, my protein, my vitamins. Let's look good. Let's be strong. Let's go on the social media.
Wait a minute. I was just doing a Flintstone.
That's what we've been doing wrong.
Son of a gun.
And I was just figuring that, eggs are protein, right?
Absolutely.
I'm running chickens right now if you guys want to need any.
Eggs are
protein
eggs.
shake every morning, right?
Yeah.
So I would have my routine, my vitamins, my stuff, and then I would spend 12 hours a day on Instagram just searching pages, music pages, all these different groups, trying to see who's good in there, filtering through these people, seeing who works with who behind the scenes. And I got pretty far with, Grammy songwriters, guys that wrote for Chris Brown,
Wow.
Jay-Z.
It's incredible. And it's not really believable unless you see it, and I've seen it.
Yeah.
Like, some of his stories, I was kind of like, okay, and then all of a sudden, like, holy crap, it's real.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see
And like
a little bit of the
he's sending me
proof.
videos of him with people and in these monster houses with and then agents, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. Very similar. I love to be a connector. I really do. I love all that stuff. He's on another level though, and he's very task oriented. I'll tell you, I'd say the best thing about Adam, other than just he's one of the nicer people you meet. He's got
Well, now he is anyway.
he's got a heart of
I
gold.
was always nice.
Yeah.
He was.
I have
So
a
you
big heart.
never got roid rage?
Oh, I did a lot.
Okay.
I mean, that's another thing of
Yeah.
why I had to stop because it get to a point where you don't realize like you're not yourself.
Did you like come to that realization? Like
Yeah.
you kind of like stepped outside of yourself for a second and was like,
I
wait,
had
what
to,
am I doing?
Stop. It was like a spiritual awakening. Like, whoa, like what's happening here? And it took to me to get to that point to realize like this is not for me. This is not me. It's getting too much. I want to be a good person. I don't want to be a person that people are scared of. I don't want to be a person that's angry. That I want to love everyone. I want to be happy. I want to network with good people. Surround myself with better people. You start going into you start being around certain people. I was in the cannabis field too. So it's kind of a shady business, and you kind of put yourself around a lot of bad people, right?
Well, you got started in it when you were in high school, for crying out loud.
middle school.
Middle school, yeah.
Well, I got into the actual
Yeah.
like cannabis.
No, I got
in
you.
2009.
Legally, we're
Yeah,
talking
yeah,
about
okay, I got it.
illegal
Above board.
enterprise here. Yeah.
But you're still selling marijuana, right? So
Yeah.
the people that you're associating yourself around with are not always the best. And then sometimes you have people that steal, that rob, and you have lots of amounts of stuff that's worth money.
Yeah.
You're a target, so you have to play the role of being strong, a gangster, and all these different things. So I was a street guy, I was a corporate guy, I was all these different things. I had to play all these. I'm basically an actor at
That's
this point. I have to play every
crazy.
role.
Yeah.
And fighting and getting in fights and getting in trouble and having to do bad things because the business I'm in, it's kind of like another thing, like, get me out of here. I don't want to associate all this stuff. That's when I contacted Jason saying, Jason, get me the hell out of this stuff, man. Get me into this corporate world. Let's do the med sales. Let's do the, have the music stuff going on. Let's do the title work. I want to get back into real estate. I want to use my tools to sell something that's going to passively bring me income that's clean, that I don't have to deal with.
You're going to do so amazing. But I was saying it before, all the things that he's brought, though, the biggest thing, he's task-oriented. Like, you can test it. Give him a task, and it's insane. Like, I mean, he like, crushes it. It's unbelievable.
I have to be the best at it. That's my personality.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I'm going to work my ass off to showing that I can do
I
it.
believe you.
He's
I
part-
really believe you.
He's
Yeah.
part of Elevate, and his first couple days with us, we actually had to have a meeting without him because we were so inundated. and my phone was getting like
bombarded.
50 like follow-ups and calls in a single day, and I'm like, I don't have time. I mean, I didn't know. And it just kept going and I'm like, oh my God, it's insane. Like, you give this kid a task, it's unreal. Never seen anything like it.
Yeah, awesome. That's wow. I haven't even started with any of my questions yet. I have another personal question for you.
Sure.
So I think we talked maybe a little bit about this. Some of the audience knows that I've had my in some professional wrestling, and I know a lot of the guys, and I've done some stuff here with PPW and stuff. So let me ask you a question about because I knew instantly, and I know how they cycle on and off, and a lot of the guys, especially for their heart or when they get older in that profession, it's all about making their bodies look good. Then they stop, they come off, they shrink down.
Sure.
And then they get really.
Literally.
Yeah. Okay. Well.
Oh no.
Did we? Sure. We'll bring that up. Why
I
not,
don't wanna
Jason?
know
Gordon?
that.
No.
I said one word, literally.
Yeah. It was a long word though. You could have shortened it. But did you face any? Did you face any of that? Because a lot of times they were self-conscious in the beginning.
Yeah.
They bulk up. And then when they stop and decide to get off of it, then they lose everything. And where their muscles were, everything looks really bad. And then they get
that's
really.
where I was a little smarter than most guys.
Oh,
right?
tell me about that.
I didn't want to get bulked up like that. I was
Okay.
always trying to just tighten up and keep hard because I know when you get big like a balloon, you stop, it's gonna sag, right? So my goal and my objective was to be like, even when I stopped, I took 2 months off, not even working out, and I didn't really lose. I didn't really lose much, maybe 10, 15 pounds, but that's muscle because after you stop working out for a couple months, you're going to lose muscle by itself.
Yeah.
Even regardless if you're not taking anything. So, I got back in the gym, and as long as you maintain that and you eat right, to be honest, 85 to 90% of it is diet, is what you eat.
Yes.
You could work out 5 times a day and get nowhere. I can work out once a day and shoot past everything everyone's doing. It's a science. You got to eat an hour before the gym. You got to eat right within an hour after the gym and have at least 4 meals a day and a couple shakes, and you'll maintain and build every day progressively. It's like,
this, because this is where my passion is so when I look at someone in their 20s and 30s, unless they have severely low testosterone or other hormones, I look at it when they go onto this, it's basically a steroid. They're looking to get big and strong. But once you get into your late 30s, 40s, and 50s, it's a hormone. Your body needs it, and we've got thousands of people that are on TRT that have so much better quality of life. They're not out there to get huge and monstrous and muscular.
Yeah.
They're looking to be able to, toss the football around with their kid at 50 years old, go and, walk 18-hole golf course in 50. We've got 60, 70, 80-year-olds right now on TRT that said that literally it has changed their quality of life.
Yeah.
Where I don't like it, though, is in young men like this.
Well, they're abusing it. So that's two different, stories.
They're abusing the steroids.
Yeah.
And what they're doing, though, too, is they're shutting their own body's natural production off. So when you're young like that, the irreparable harm that you could cause by doing this in your 20s, people just don't. I don't know. When you're in your 20s, you think you're going to live forever.
Yeah.
And to answer your question about your heart, your liver, and stuff like that, I'm 55 years old next week. I just went in for my blood work, and I'm not checking out very well. I've been on testosterone for 20 years. I do suffer from low T. But there are things that you have to be careful. It can raise your hemoglobin, your hematocrit, it can harden your arteries. It can cause a lot of issues if you don't do it correctly.
Nobody wants to put in the work.
Yep,
And
exactly.
that's the problem. Is like, like he said, if you have someone that's a little older and they're microdosing it and they're doing it the right way because they're older
Major
and they
success.
need to, it's going to work great for them. You got somebody in their 20s, there's no excuse for it. If you have a medical condition, yes, but there's some things that can help if you're overweight and things, but you get to a point where, you're healthier and you got to learn to get off, but everybody gets so addicted that it's hard to get off, right? So, there's ways you can intermediate fast, raise your testosterone level. The way you eat, raise your testosterone level. Vitamins, supplements, natural, your body is meant to fight everything and do everything on its own. You don't need to take so many different things. And these young kids, they want to get on all this stuff, and they're screwing themselves.
And we forget, too, that there's beauty in imperfection, right? Yeah. Everybody's beautiful in their own way. Everyone's got their own, there's times you'll meet a aesthetically beautiful person, and within 5 minutes you realize they're pretty ugly.
Yes.
That's absolutely true.
And then sometimes you meet somebody that you wouldn't have given a chance based off aesthetics, and you meet them, you think, oh my God, that might be one of the more beautiful people you meet. So I think as you get older, you realize in life the definition of beauty changes.
It does, and I agree with that. I mean, sometimes you'll look at somebody and just go off their aesthetic, and you're like, wow, that's such a beautiful person, and then maybe We're fixing the camera currently. But maybe their attitude, it's just not beautiful. They're not as beautiful anymore.
Yep, you're right.
Yep. One of the side effects, talk about side effects of doing a live show, is people that tune in and watch live get to see all this stuff. Everybody that gets to see the edited version, they don't know. A little bit this way towards me. So hang tight, guys. Don't worry, this will be edited out. Probably not.
No, it's okay.
This way.
The sound effects are incredible.
Yeah, thank you. I worked hard on them.
We just paid R2D2 to come in here and
that way.
that's awesome.
Give us. There we go. Probably good. Let's see.
There we go.
I think it's perfect.
Perfect. Good.
Can we
Yeah.
segue for a second before I forget?
Yeah, we can
Yeah,
edit the
segue.
post edit
Awesome
this.
segue.
Yeah.
So, first of all, I will give a shout out to an amazing cafe. It's called Lula's Cafe in Auburn Hills.
Okay, sure. Shout out to
Absolutely
them.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
The food's great. The owner's awesome. So I went there. I've gone there probably 2-3 times a week now for coffee, just do some work. And I was sitting next to a lovely lady, and we were talking. She asked what I did, and I'm talking, title, a few other things, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I go, let me guess, you're an OU student. And she goes, oh, no. She goes, no, I just come here and plan out my day. She goes, I'm a OnlyFans person. And I'm like,
Oh.
what? I swear to God. And but what's crazy is this: she doesn't disrobe or do anything like that. She does 2 things. One is she's a foot model, and 2 is she eats food in front of people. So she
Well,
literally,
should I do that?
She literally put her camera down.
I should do it too.
She put her camera down and she was eating foods.
Yeah.
And she showed me she's got like 36 or 37,000 followers.
Yeah.
That pay a membership. She said she could retire anytime now. She said that it's just insane. And I'm like, very, very pretty girl. And she seemed very educated. And I'm just thinking, this is insane.
Yeah.
I'm working 12-hour days.
Yeah.
And she came in and ate lunch and made more than I did in a month.
Yeah.
I'm like, what am I doing wrong?
Yeah.
They're
Well,
probably
it's
making stupid money. But
yeah. I think, but at the end of the day, though, and I think you hit on something really good. And I really would wonder if you put us in contact, I'd love to ask this question, and if we could get an honest answer, because I've met people in industries like that, and when you talk about, are you happy with who you are and what you're doing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think
and I'm
with
not
her-
saying that with her, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But like when you're talking about aspirations, at the end of the day, is your tombstone gonna? And again, no offense, I'll use a different example. Let's say that it was not somebody.
Masterclass eater.
Yeah, instead of masterclass eater, let's just say that there's a guy that I know that he gets paid. He gets paid for people watch him sit. We had him when Robert Courtney was on. I had his channel up. He goes out and he walks silently, and then he'll sit in places for 4 hours. He'll just sit, and people subscribe
just to watch them.
to watch this dude just sit.
Is it calming? Is it like something for somebody?
Yeah,
that
maybe.
kinda-
I don't know. It's weird, but at
To
the
each their own, Like
At-
some people like foot videos, and some people like to watch.
but
people
at the
sit
end
in
of the
chair.
day, the question, and this goes back to you. Like I don't think you would be satisfied being the guy whose tombstone says, "Here lies so and so. People watched me eat. And that was my legacy." Right? I don't know. Maybe.
I think it's a side hustle.
It's a side hustle, and it's maybe a lot more to it. Like you're saying, maybe shallow. Maybe he's got lots of things that happen to him that he's trying to get into somewhere a different state in his life. But you got to do what you love. If you don't do what you love, you're never gonna be great at it.
See, that's or to even be
Ooh,
great.
I like that.
Here's my question: when it comes to something like that, if that's a shortcut to greatness, do you take it? And then how do people that do that? You get what I'm saying?
They
Like,
got to figure that part out of their life.
Do
They got to
that-
go through things and get to it. I mean, how many people
You
when
can't
wake up
unsee
say,
it though.
I hate
Once
my
it's on
job.
the internet.
You know,
So you
It's
got to be
true,
real selective,
even when you
right?
try.
And I'll
Yeah.
say the one thing about this girl, and I don't know if she ever watches this or not. It just basically,
We'll cut it out.
I thought she was classy. I thought
Yeah.
And she was honest about it. She's
Yeah.
like, this is what I do, and she's
Were you in the video? I'd watch it then.
No.
Oh,
I'd watch it then. So think about it like, how many people complain when they wake up in the morning, I hate my job, I hate my life, life sucks. Then why do you do it?
Yeah.
You're doing it for a paycheck. There's
Yeah.
so many different
Yep.
things. Sometimes you got to stop. You got to take a break. You got to
like that.
you got to reevaluate what's going on in your life because some people say, oh, when they're a kid, I want to be a veterinarian or a firefighter or whatever it is that you want to be.
Yeah.
You have to do those things because everyone has to have a purpose or else you get sidetracked. You're not happy. You need to fill a void because you're not doing what you love to do.
And that's realistically, it's funny. I had this conversation with somebody yesterday. How we currently live, especially here in the United States, it's probably different in other countries, but for sure here we live where mediocre is the new like excellent.
Yeah.
Because people aren't doing what they love, and everybody, and I mean, even post-COVID specifically,
Video
please
games, settling.
please be nice to our staff. They're the only ones that are left. Well, they have to put those signs up because the staff sucks, and they're not happy to be there. Nobody
wants
says
to
hello or
work.
greets
Nobody
you
wants to-
anymore.
No one's respectful.
Right,
no one cares,
right.
and it's just
And
ridiculous.
so, like, our level of what excellence is has completely dropped down, and mediocre is now the new level of excellence.
Correct.
And
What do you think that is? Parenting?
I think that it's a lot of things. One of the things I think is that people did not learn the lesson. When I was in high school, I think a lot of it goes to, believe it or not, I don't care what people think. I think it goes to the school systems. 100% parenting, but I think it also goes to the school systems. When you're in school, school is training you to be an employee for somebody else.
Correct.
Not only that,
They're
but
prepping you for
then
life, right?
then they put a test in front of you, let you take this test, and I'll never forget sitting in our career center in high school doing this test and just having them put, hey, just to let you guys know that the medical industry is going to be the next booming industry out there. They're going to need a lot of people, and you're going to make a high income.
Yeah.
So then you ended up with all these people in the medical industry that they don't want to be in the medical industry.
It's just easy.
They're just doing it because that's where the easy money was, because there was a void that needed to happen.
Correct.
And so they just jumped into it.
You're so right about that, because we have so many nurses that come in and work for us.
Yeah.
They cannot stay in the hospital. It's toxic.
Yeah.
They just said it's just such a rough place to work,
Well,
and
nurses,
they
it's
feel
It's an
underappreciated.
easy thing to do, right? It's only a couple years of schooling.
Well, I don't know if it's. I mean, you guys spend 4 years, and I mean, becoming a
But
nurse
like,
is
yeah,
is
I
tough.
mean, it's, sometimes people want to think, what's the fastest way I can,
Get done.
get my career going and start making money?
Yeah.
Realtor.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's one way they could. Listen, that's
You
not a
usually
joke.
you think until you join and you're like, oh man, it's not get money fast.
Well, that boils
That's that
also,
unrealized that chart you
like,
did.
oh, I
Yes.
gotta work.
Well, that also boils into social media now. There was no social media back in the day,
Yeah.
growing up. Now everything's about social media, so it's a fake world. Oh, this person has this. This person's dressed like this. These guys have this. And
Yeah.
everything is we need, want. So how are you going to get it? So these girls are doing OnlyFans, or they're selling their self, or whatever they can do to get money. And guys, girls in general,
Right.
Guys are
they're trying
selling
to keep
weed.
up with. Yeah, guys are selling weed.
Yeah.
I'm overachieving, right?
Yeah, but see,
I'm
you're,
sure
you're a
there-
good
I'm
example
sure-
of that. And then
Yeah.
you realize you got out of that, though.
Yeah.
Correct. And sometimes, a lot of people don't, and they
Yeah.
get stuck into things, and people go down the wrong path.
Yeah.
But it is a different world, and like today's children and like high schoolers, whatever. A lot of it's social media.
Social media. They
So-
sit in the house playing video games.
Exactly,
They don't go
and
out.
like your hustle, like back then was you'd have to go out, and
Yeah.
now people figured out I just need my phone. I just need a Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
And I can try to I can sit in front of a camera and sit down, or I can there's all
There's all these
sorts of
apps.
videos
Yeah.
too
You
that
got
people
Instagram,
make
you got
and
Facebook,
videos.
You got dating
That's
websites,
what's the
you got-
problem.
It's everywhere. Yeah.
Because it feeds a narrative.
Exactly.
So whatever you believe in, it'll feed all the people that believe in the same thing.
Yep.
And feed it, so it normalizes it, and it makes it seem like everybody else is wrong but you.
Yeah.
It takes away any kind of conversation piece anymore. Nobody has Discord. Everybody just like, if you don't believe
I
in
have
my
Discord.
I
Yeah,
do
there
too.
you go.
Well,
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you on?
Jay,
Are you on Discord?
We got Discord
Oh yeah, we got
together.
Discord.
That
Every
boils
time.
into that also boils into why people are out of shape. They're not out there because they're not running, they're not moving, they're not going places. They're sitting still. They're sitting in the house all day, poor eating. It's just
Well,
the
it's
health-
because
the
everyone
healthy-
just wants Ozempic.
Yeah.
Take one shot, and your A1C numbers go down, and you're going to lose 30 pounds. It's
You know
just
what's
that
crazy
easy.
about that?
One shot a week,
That's
but
true.
don't do
Let
anything.
me tell you what's crazy about that right there, because that's hilarious.
Yeah,
so
that is hilarious.
let me
That
tell
was-
you.
that made my day right now.
I don't.
Jay.
I don't
You
know if
killed that, Jason.
You killed that.
I don't know if I've ever told this story to anybody, but we'll
Oh,
talk about
man.
it being your authentic self. So I get diagnosed with diabetes. Okay, but diabetes. I'm supposed to have Ozempic. All right.
Yeah.
So I get diagnosed with it. Now, as soon as I did, they're wanting to put me on all these pills and stuff like that. And I've really always been against medicine. I'm scared of it. I don't want to do it. But I'm like, if this is helping everybody else, and I've watched some of the illegitimate Ozempic people, I've watched them and I'm like, well, maybe this will finally help. And since
It does help though.
and since I'm supposed to be on it, right? I get it covered by insurance. Here's the problem. Dude that's actually on it,
Yeah.
should be on it, can't get it because all the skinny people are out there right now who
Well, why
don't
didn't you call
need it.
Jason? Jason got you.
Jason's got it.
Because he
I know
doesn't
he's got
accept
it.
my insurance, therefore
That's
it's not
right.
going to be $3
Well,
a
nobody
month.
accepts the insurance, but
Yeah.
Again, it does work.
Yeah.
So there's people that should be taking it, and there's people that shouldn't be taking
Well,
it.
here's what happened. So what happened in that 3-month period of time, I couldn't get on it in the first place because they couldn't get it in,
Yeah.
right? Then by the time they were able to get it in, I started working with a personal trainer who's going to be on the show coming up in the next couple of weeks. Started working with him, and all he did, talking back to what you were saying, is he monitored my weight. I have to text him what I was eating.
Sure, exactly.
The first day that we got together, 38 texts back and forth about pizza.
Yeah.
I could still have it.
You
It
can still
just
have it.
had to be within my calories for the day, and that was all I had.
Exactly.
And I was telling them this is a bunch of crap. So 50 pounds later, in a 3-month period of time, when I go back into the doctor's office, guess what? I don't qualify for Ozempic anymore because my levels have gone back into where they were supposed to be.
That's insane.
And it's
that they do that to anybody. Because first of all,
Yeah.
if you have diabetes, it shouldn't have anything to do with your weight. It has to do with your A1C, and that's what causes.
Yeah,
your
but my
weight loss.
A1C is now back into
Yeah.
normal levels, so they
Because
don't
of your dieting.
because
Exactly.
because it was all
Exactly.
just
So
dieting.
That goes back into
Which-
everything is
Yeah.
Which is
90% of what
hilarious
you eat.
because why didn't they just? Well, I'm sure they figured. You've been told this your entire life, but the fact that they just didn't be like, "Hey, let's try this 3-month experiment instead." Why don't you not eat? And it wasn't even drastic stuff. Like my coach was just like, "Hey,
clean it
instead
up.
of having high C orange,
Yeah.
have a large water." And I have one
Exactly.
out in my car right now. I love the large waters, 32 ounce. It's all I drink now. I don't do
Stanley.
pop,
Well,
right?
You should have
42
at least a
ounces.
half a gallon to a gallon a day. Of
I drink
water,
2
right?
gallons of water a day.
See, that's
Yeah.
perfect. So when
Yeah.
you wake up in the morning, that's the first thing you should have is
Yeah.
water. It's
Yeah.
gonna kick on your
Well,
metabolism.
I'm getting there, but it's sugar-free Red Bull right now. Then it's water. I do. Have you ever done a caffeinated nap? Do you guys know about these? The first thing in the morning.
First thing in the morning, I do water with espresso. So
Yeah.
I have energy.
So
right
kind
away.
of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Similar.
So I take Go ahead.
I've been, me and my girlfriend, we've been juicing, like
Not your type of
celery,
juicing.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
No,
okay.
not-
Celery juice is good. for your
Celery,
bones.
pineapple, ginger, spinach.
That's all good.
Honestly, whatever we could throw in there. But I'm trying, like, for my health journey, like, I'm on a journey as well.
Yeah.
And that's the first thing I'll drink in the morning.
That's really good.
Well, they
Yeah.
say drink celery juice on an empty stomach, and it's good for your bones. It
Yeah.
helps
Yeah.
For your
so
bones.
it's that, water, and then, yes, espresso.
The ginger is
Espresso
great.
definitely comes next. The ginger.
That kills tumor and cancer properties in your stomach. It helps with your digestion.
And it's natural. Like, I'm not buying this juice. We're just juicing it.
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know?
way better for you. Less sugar. 'Cause
Yeah,
all the other
less
stuff's-
sugar.
Yeah.
No. Okay. So
Yeah. So caffeinated napping is where you slam a Red Bull or whatever coffee or if you're going to do an espresso.
Yeah.
And then you lay down, meditate, or take a 30-minute quick nap. And then by the time you wake up, you have more energy than you would have if you just hit it in the first place because your body got to rest while it dispersed it. So that's my morning ritual.
Yeah.
I wake up, I'm not ready to wake up, slam a Red Bull, lay to bed. It is sugar-free though, but we've talked about this last time
Yeah.
you're on the podcast. I know it's still not the best.
Try to change
but
it up.
We're
Clean it up a
getting
little
there.
yeah, clean it up.
So now you got to come to Elevate and get some.
Well, Jason,
tirzepatide.
we're on that way.
I'm coming
Jason's
with him.
we're gonna film it. I think is actually we just
Yes.
announced that. Is that a
Yeah.
thing that we can just
Jason,
announce to everybody?
I can't wait to come.
We're gonna film it.
to
We're gonna
Elevate.
film it, and if all else fails,
Yeah.
then we're gonna delete this episode from the internet. We're just gonna say you are the new me 2 years from now, and then I'll just go hide in Cuba or something.
No,
You're
we don't.
so
we'll just
funny.
We're gonna
we'll
create
just
a new
advertise.
Jason. We're gonna create a new awesome, right? So we'll have a new awesome,
There you
right?
go.
Well, you know, one of the reasons why I really wanted to start losing weight in the first place wasn't because of weight. I think that's one of the things that I always got wrong throughout my whole life because in the family I grew up in, it was always a struggle with one of my parents too. You know, like the weight, which is I was adopted, which is really funny. So I was adopted, closed adoption. When I met my birth parents, nobody in my family, my biological family, was overweight.
Wow.
Everybody in my adopted family overweight because it was an environmental type of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It
And
is.
so
I can agree with that.
I decided, like, all right, I've watched this struggle forever, and now I'm living that struggle out forever too, right?
Let me ask you a
Go
question.
ahead, yeah.
Not to cut you off.
No.
Do you put dirty gas or dirty oil in your car?
I mean, do I put dirty gas? I don't know what's.
What would happen
Yeah.
if you
Do
used
that.
recycled oil, or if you put some gas that was laying around in a thing? And what if you put that in your car? How would your car run?
Yeah, probably like it, not the best. Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah.
People put good clean
Yeah,
gas,
yeah.
good clean oil changes in the car because if there's one way in and one way out. You're doing a lot of damage to your body on the way out. So if you got to treat yourself like a car, you got to put the right things inside of it, everything you're giving yourself is the reason why you're getting overweight. My brother, same thing. He's 350 pounds.
Oh, I wish that's my dream weight.
Well, no,
You say no, that's 100 pounds
He was
down.
always in good shape
Yeah.
growing up, and then he started having bad eating cycles
Yeah.
and things like that. So he ended up going to not the diabetes, but pre-diabetic.
Yeah,
And we put him on tirzepatide. I got him from 350 pounds down to 291 pounds in 2 months.
Wow.
Just from the tirzepatide
Was
and
he-
cleaning up his diet.
It was the dieting and
It's the old, again, it goes back to that old adage, right, that we've heard. I had a friend of mine, again, in the wrestling business, and he started out as a luchador. He was a little on the heavy side, and when COVID hit, he decided, I'm going to take this time because nobody's working out and all this other stuff. I'm going to do it when nobody else is. And then when you see him now, you couldn't recognize him. He complete transformation, and it was just. And when I asked him, it's funny because you ask people, because you were right. One of you guys, you might have been talking about it. Everybody's looking for that secret, that quick hit. How can I quickly get to this goal?
Yeah.
And
That's-
life isn't
yeah.
about that.
No,
It's not.
And the people that do are never.
it's a lifestyle.
Yeah. Yep.
It's a lifestyle. You just got to clean up your habits, clean up
Yeah.
all the things that you got going on in
yeah,
life.
Yeah.
and
Just
that's the
little
hardest
work.
part. Like to retrain new habits. That's the hardest.
Yeah, I found something that, because everyone's got, at the beginning of the year, they start a New Year's resolution. And by March or April, 90% of the
They're
people
gone.
are gone.
Yeah.
It's so unrealistic to put something out a year from now. What you really need to do, and I read a book on it, it's 12-week.
Oh yeah,
journeys.
the 12-week year.
Yep, so
Yeah.
everything I do is in 12 weeks. So now it's attainable. I can see the end of it. I can see the end of the road. I can see the result. I can see that. A year out, my mindset's not there. By March, I'm thinking of 6 other things. Before you know it, I've passed on that. And I really think if everybody puts 12-week cycles out, it's like a boot camp. You put your goals down, you do your things. You can still do all your vision boards and all that, stuff like that. But this is just so much more attainable, and I think it keeps you on the path better because there isn't a magic bullet. There's not a shot. You're going to lose the weight, but if you don't change your habits, it's going to go
You
right
have to
back
get
on.
to that
Yeah.
point, though.
Yeah,
TJ,
so-
or when is it till you realize, hey, I got to make these changes? You
So
got to
that's
experience these.
That
things.
right there is something that that as a coach and trainer, we call that threshold.
Yes.
Something has to change. The change has to be from within, and the change has to be now.
Exactly.
And this goes back to business stuff too. That's why I want to. It's really interesting how many business success books out there always use weight, which again for me it's a little like, oh come on guys again, because I've always suffered from that, right? So I've always been, it's
At
always
what
been
point-
funny.
At what point did it ever say to you like, hey, I want to fix this? Did you get to that point where I want to change and you actually make the change?
So I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what happened. I did. I lost 113 pounds in a year.
Wow.
And I felt great. I looked good. I had the best clothes in the world at that time. And then my wife at the time, she broke her back. When that happened, the place that I was at, the way that it worked was they would basically for a low payment allow you to have coaches, classes, and a nutritionist plan, and as long as you lost at least 20 pounds every 6 weeks, and then you took a week off, you could stay until you hit your goal weight, and then they'd actually refund you your check back if you actually hit your goal weight, right? So it was a great program for me because I was motivated to get my money back. You get ingrained in the system. Again, success principle. Who you're around, all of a sudden I'm around all these healthy people and everybody's just trying to be healthy.
That's
It's
it.
not about losing weight, it was about being healthy.
It's the most important thing.
And I did it. I got down there, and when that happened, I was not able to go anymore. And so once you stop, boom, they cash the check. Now all of a sudden I'm out of the program, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know if you know this or not, if you ever had a family member that's gone through something like this before, but people help because they bring in food.
Sure.
And nobody was bringing in lean chicken breasts and whatever. What they were bringing in was the best food I've ever had in my life.
Yeah.
And because I spent just over a year losing all that weight, I gained 93 pounds back in just over 30 days.
Wow.
Yeah.
And when that happened, and I went
You
back,
went through a depression.
I said, I put way too much work into what I had done. I literally in 1 month undid everything that it took me a year to do. And I just said, screw it with a capital F.
Yeah.
And I got really, then I tried to not let it get too out of control. Then I went through a divorce. And that divorce was a huge on me. There's a lot of things that happened during there.
That's why I said depression.
Boom,
Right,
blew
right,
up to
another-
450, higher than I ever been in my life.
But that's where it stems from. See,
Yeah.
It's a lifestyle. So you can't just do it a little bit and think I'm going to get it off,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
I'm good now.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
it's
The psychology wasn't there.
you got there for a reason.
So
Yeah.
what about now, Johnny?
What about now?
I think Johnny has.
Well-
are you going to share?
what am I sharing?
Well, he's been more. Me and him are the same. We're both on a little health.
We're the exact. If you
healthness
can't
journey.
tell, we're both.
No, we are the same mindset.
It's
and
true, but it's again who I've put myself around, right? So Summer's actually motivated me a lot because now we're talking about health a lot. I've been in with this coach, and we've been struggling through it as well. And but it's not a daily thing. So it's been a lot of finding things. So I don't know who. I think it might have been you. Somebody told me on one of our shows they just got rid of sugar and bread,
That's the most
and so like I've gotten rid of both of those. And for the last, and it's just been
And
a
pop.
short. Well, I don't drink pop. I never have. I maybe if I'm out at a restaurant, I make them make me a cherry Coke because I like those.
Yeah.
But we drink water pops in our family. So the seltzer waters.
Waterloos and
Yeah,
stuff like that.
yeah. That's
Yeah.
Other than that. I mean, I'm 2 gallons a day in water.
That's
but
awesome.
So I tell you, it was funny because Summer came in. It was the other day, and dude, guys, I was so mad. Because I hadn't had
bad
sugar
mood.
in a while, and my head was killing me because I knew exactly what it was.
Sure.
You're having withdrawal syndromes,
Withdrawal syndromes
from sugar.
Correct.
From sugar. Isn't that stupid? That's stupid, guys. So I'm mad. I'm just angry. Weird stuff is happening. Anyway, it's right at when all this
it's
crap's
rare
going
that
down.
you find Johnny in a mood like that. Like he's
Yes.
not mean to me by no means. He's just not the same.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
wasn't mean. I wasn't mean, right?
No, not at all.
Yeah, good.
But you were.
But I was a dick.
Yeah.
Like you don't mean to be, but everything you say, you're
It's
just
anything
like.
that you quit, you can quit.
Yeah.
Even with me with
Yeah.
the weed, when I quit
Yeah.
smoking weed, I was really like on edge for
Yeah.
the first couple weeks.
Don't talk to me.
Yeah, just angry.
I'm gonna eat my sugar-free gum.
Yeah,
There you go.
summer, my good. I'm chewing on this gum like it's a freaking hamburger right up against a gum.
He's downing
And
it. He's like, yeah, I'm
telling-
eating no sugar.
I'm telling some over here, my number one, like how excited I am and what a big change this is for me and how I'm a little bit like I'm going through it. And she goes, well, is that gum sugar free?
Oh boy.
And I didn't even look. I'm like, oh,
did
don't
it.
do that to me. And so I think I throw
Hey,
the
we're
gum.
gonna help him.
I
We're
think
gonna
Yeah.
mentor you.
It
we're
was,
gonna
and
help
it
you.
was sugar-free, by the way.
it ended up being
But I
sugar
wanted
free,
to
by
let
the way.
him know because he's like, I'm so hungry. I'm eating this gum.
That's
I'm
my
like,
problem
well,
right now.
let's check
I'm
real quick to
starving
see
all
how
the
much
time.
Sugar
It's
is in
okay
this
to eat.
gum.
Just balance your macros. Eat
Yeah.
a good protein, fat,
Yeah.
and carb.
Yeah.
And you can
Yeah.
eat
That's
as many
what we're
times
doing.
as you want. Your body won't
Yeah.
store it.
And that's
Yeah.
the thing too is I think people don't
My body
realize-
will store it.
It won't. It won't. If you eat a balanced macro, you'll
I've been
get the calories.
experienced. Yeah, I was told, by a personal trainer to eat three meals a day,
It's
snack
good. It's
in
great for
between,
you.
healthy calories, and I have been doing that. It raises your metabolism. But what I'm also learning in the meantime is no, I'm not going to have a piece of pizza because there's 1,000 calories. I only
Yeah.
have 1,000 left. What am I
Hold on.
going to do?
First off, just to let you know, if it's Little Caesar, it's only 420 calories. If it's the pepperoni,
Is that one
I'll
Just
tell you a
FYI.
funny story for the pizza. I have my Fitness Pal app, and that's what I started
Yeah.
learning how to balance meals when I was really
Yeah.
getting into it. And I was so hungry one day, and I was trying so hard to be strict, and I'm getting a haircut, and Jet's Pizza's next door. And
It's the
all
best.
I'm doing is smelling the
Yeah.
Jet's Pizza. So
Yeah.
I put it in a Jet's Pizza slice,
Yeah.
and one Jet's
Yeah.
Pizza slice was actually a perfect balanced macro.
It is. Yeah.
So
Love that.
I ate the slice,
Yeah.
and sometimes everything in
okay.
moderation is
Yeah.
okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
100%.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love tropical smoothie, right? So it's one of my things. And the whole time I'm like, it's healthy. Like I can get my smoothie. It's like I'm indulging and it's healthy. I looked though and like
Sugar,
the
high in sugar.
it's
Yeah.
so much sugar. It's
Yep.
crazy. So it's, realizing those little things and changing those habits. And
Yeah, there's different kinds of sugar too. You got sucralose, dextrose. You've
Yeah.
got so there are some sugars that are better for you. Obviously, the corn syrup is the worst.
Yeah.
It's processed. It's so bad for you. It's so bad for the body. But just like Adam was saying before, though, too, everything is timing too. Like it's okay to have some fruit, some sugars in the morning, things like that. You're going to burn them through the day, but you don't want to go have a big starchy meal, potatoes, bread, all this at 8:00 at night. That's going to raise your A1C, and then, but it's going to raise your blood sugar. It's going to raise, all that stuff's going to happen, and then your body, when you're not using it as energy, it stores it.
Yeah.
It stores it as fat.
Yep. I love it, guys. Guys, we got a couple things left that we got to wrap up here. We're running out of time. There is a game that we want to play. Cue the game show music. Oh, good, it's muted. Hang on. Let's play a game. Yeah, I knew it would work. All right, there it is. That's nothing like throwing us on a spot. This game is called the two-name game. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read to you guys two true statements and a lie. And we're going to see if you guys can solve between the two which one the lie is here. And this is all about two names, since both you guys happen to have two first names. So here it goes. You guys ready? Here's the three statements, okay?
We're in.
All right.
People have a lot of like, Jay. I didn't know.
Yeah, you do have a lot of like.
Two first names,
People with two first names are more likely to be perceived as friendly and approachable in customer service roles.
True.
I'd say true too.
Actors and musicians are 15% more likely to have two first names compared to the general population.
I don't know that one.
Actors and
Is that true or
musicians.
false?
Well, I don't know. Here's the third one. You guys got to pick the two true and the false. The third one is, statistically, people with two first names live on average 5 years longer than those with the traditional first and last names.
False.
You think that one's the false? That is the false
Absolutely.
one. Yeah. It is interesting. Yes, actors and musicians are 15% more likely to have two first names compared to the general population.
Wow.
Have you guys ever seen that study when it comes to names, and how if your name is like, if your last name happens to be like Barbaros or Barb, anything with Barb, the chance of you being a barber, or anything like if it's Shearer, your last name, your chances of you being a barber is really high.
No, I didn't know that.
Really?
Yes, it's this crazy study that they did about names and professions, and just like this, like there's something around what you were named ends up almost becoming a mantra for what you're going to try to do in life. And it's funny that you happen to be in the industry that you happen to be in, going off of what the statistics are when it comes to that. All right, check this one out. People with two first names are more likely to have their name miswritten on official documents. Historically, people with two first names were banned from joining the British Society due to naming irregularities, or in a study of CEOs, a notable percentage had two first names, suggesting a subconscious bias towards familiarity.
Whoa.
I'm going to say the British one is false.
Okay. Britain. Go, Britain. Is that
Completely clueless. I don't know. That's a tough one.
I'm going to be the best at everything. Trivia!
Well, you remember I told
Where's
you
the weights?
I was making money. I didn't finish. You know?
Yeah, no, that's I get it.
Yeah.
So, so you have to be the best at everything. Okay, I'll lose weight. You get
we'll
a
practice
GED.
trivia.
We'll see.
Yeah.
That's okay. I didn't finish school. I actually, well, we'll get into that discussion later. I bought my degree online from Florida. It is Britain, the Britain one. Let's see if I can find one more fun one in here, because I found a bunch of stuff. A lot of stuff about entertainment in here. Some cultures use two first names as a way to distinguish individuals in large families with similar names.
I agree, maybe.
Having two first names is a requirement to be a NASA astronaut. These are really complicated. By the way, this is, if you get this one wrong,
I think that was false.
statistically, American presidents with two first names are just as likely to be elected as those with a traditional first and last name.
C, all the above.
Yeah, that's it. It's true.
Holy moly.
Yep. NASA. What was the one that AI and government systems hate? This is just some facts I pulled up when I was putting these together. This is interesting. People with two first names often run into bureaucratic nightmares with government forms, airline tickets, and banking systems. Also, many automated systems accidentally reverse their names, turning Adam Paul, for instance, into Paul Adam, and causing frustration ID mismatches. Has that ever happened to you?
Well, yeah, but it's Paul's.
Yeah, with an S.
With an S.
Yeah, see, AI hates you. This is all, I asked AI to generate all this based on your name.
Did you?
Yeah, and so as you can see, like, it literally says, AI and government systems hate them. The AI literally wrote this
literally
sentence.
does say that.
And then it cut your S off your name.
Wow.
Yeah, so there you go.
Kind of rude. if you ask me.
That shows you the control the government tries to put on you, right?
Yeah.
Well, here's something fun too. There's something called the accidental middle name syndrome. Has this ever happened? Many people with two first names have accidentally been assigned a fake middle name.
Well, I have three
There it is.
first names. My middle name is Alexander.
Oh my goodness.
So
Wow. So I'll put it all together.
put it all together.
Alexander Paul's.
There. Yeah.
What's yours, Jason?
Yeah. What is yours?
Andrew.
Okay.
Oh,
Is it
another
really
one.
you too?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Oh wow.
Wow. Yeah. What and what's your
I know,
social
it's
security
kinda
number?
crazy.
He's my brother
Jason
from another
Andrews.
mother.
There it is.
38088.
Remember when that guy used to go on TV and be like, "Here's my social security number," and then they're like, "Stop doing that. This is a horrible idea." I don't. He doesn't do it anymore, does he?
No, but I know. I
I-
think. Yeah, I wouldn't do it. Not with all the black market out there right now.
It's a
Yeah.
terrible, terrible, terrible idea. Even
Yeah.
if you're
Yeah.
joking.
Yeah.
And again, in sports too, the last thing I thought that was really interesting is there's a bizarrely high number of famous athletes who also have two first names, especially in basketball and football.
Oh my God, that's crazy. I can think a few just off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Fans, it says some fans think that they're doing this on purpose to make their names sound more iconic and memorable, but it's literally their actual names.
Yeah, but I think when you become really popular, you get one name.
Yeah,
Or
exactly.
if you get, well, no, he didn't have a name
Madonna.
anymore. He had a
Yeah.
symbol.
You're right.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah,
It's
the
not even a
symbol.
name, it's
Yeah,
just a
He
symbol.
went to another level.
Even with businesses that are the most powerful
MJ.
are one name.
Or a symbol.
Apple and-
Nike.
Yeah,
One
Nike.
swoosh. Everybody knows what it
Summer.
is.
No.
Yeah.
Sumner.
Summer.
Sumner.
Something.
So I
summer.
want to ask one last question as we wrap this up here, and I'm pulling this I kind of want to throw everything together at the end here. Something that you said really early on was that you didn't really listen to the advice until you got older, and then you realized what was being said to you.
Correct. I never understood what everything was said to me really meant until
Yeah.
I went through it.
Yeah.
And experienced a lot of these things.
So if you were able to go back and talk to you, what advice, like middle school you, there you are in the parking lot selling freaking catnip to the high schoolers,
Yeah.
pretending that it's pot, right?
Yeah. I did that. Not catnip, but other
yeah, I
things.
figured, right? I'm not surprised. Like,
I had some guy that my brother put me into this crazy stuff, but I had some guy. We had church incense, and it looked like crack rocks. And this guy would want to come and buy these incense, and he's like, "Oh, I love it." And he's throwing rocks at my window at 4 a.m. I'm like, "This guy's an idiot. Let me take it." You know, I was a little kid.
Yeah,
no
yeah.
idea, but
somebody else came up to you and be like, "Hey, man, that stuff didn't get me high, but I made a great pizza out of it." Yeah.
what would I change?
No, what would you say to what advice would you, in your present state, on your birthday day today, go back and tell middle school you?
Don't sell the incense.
Don't tell the incense. I would tell them to focus on school, graduate. Bless them.
Really?
I would tell them to finish school, to not hang around with the kids that they thought was popular. I'd hang out with the nerds. I would finish school. I'd get a
Why
degree.
did you point at me?
I didn't point at you.
We would have been friends no matter what group you were in.
Yeah,
I was
no,
that guy.
I didn't point at you. I
You
was saying
kind of
in
did.
general. No, because
Re-roll the footage.
My dad used to tell me,
Don't hang with
out
nerds?
with the popular kids. Hang
Oh,
out
I
with
gotcha.
the smart kids. And
Interesting,
Hang
okay.
out with the guys that are
100%.
focused in their work and they don't care about all the, bull crap.
Yeah.
I would have listened to a lot of the lectures and a lot of the advice he gave me.
What was the best piece of advice that your dad gave you that you didn't realize was the best piece of advice to
That's
later?
probably one of them.
Who you're basically he was telling you.
Finishing school, right?
Yeah.
Because, obviously we stated earlier, I'm trying to figure out all these things. If I would have just went to school and I could have focused in one thing and worked, it would have been a lot easier. Everything I would have done, I did 5 times harder than your average person, right?
Yeah.
So it would have just saved me a lot of work, time, and figuring out and going through all these wrong hula hoops and all these bad things that I've experienced. I could have avoided all of them by just being completely normal. You know what I mean? Do the right things, stay out of trouble, just be a good person.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
I want to add one follow-up question to that is, if you were to go back, would your younger, and it was you, and you were like, I am from the future and I am you.
Yeah.
Would your younger self have actually listened to that message?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
Coming from yourself.
If it was coming from you?
Yeah.
So let me fast forward it then. What message
Poetic.
do you think 10 years from now you'll be telling yourself today?
I don't know. That's a tough one.
That's
Yeah.
a good
That's a
one.
tough one. All you can do is just strive to be a better person, right? So work harder, and I would stay in the corporate world, in the real estate world. I would, obviously real estate is never going anywhere. It's probably the top of the ladder of income, and work for something that's going to build me a good stability and be able to have a good family life.
The good thing about real estate is this, and compound of that, just add to it, is you can make a good living in it. There's no question about it. But I tell everybody that it's a 3-year journey minimum. So if you are a realtor just starting out, it's 3 years of grinding. A lot of times you have to have a side hustle, certain things to get there. But once you get there, once you build your pillars, once you put the time in, it's just like anything else in life. If it's easy money, it's usually easily gone.
Wow.
You have to put your time in anything. If anything ever comes easy, anything, usually it's fleeting.
That's great.
Well, Jay, you got nothing but time, right? You're going to wake up, 3 years are going to go by no matter what.
That's
so
exactly
whatever
right.
you do, it's just kind of like going back to the, what would you do out finish school? Because you got nothing but time. 3
Yeah.
years are going to pass by. So whether you're selling, selling,
Incense.
yeah,
And that would be what you tell yourself 10 years from now. Because
Correct.
I'll tell you why. Johnny had an amazing, a coaching with all these realtors, and you had this diagram that I still kind of use with my kids.
The entrepreneurial guide.
And it's with
Yeah.
the unrealized happiness down
Yeah.
into when you realize that, hey, shortly after you're like, I'm gonna make all this money, real estate's
Yep.
incredible. Then you realize, 5-6 weeks in, oh God, this is not easy.
Yeah.
Then you realize that you got to put all this extra work in to start building. And before you
That's
know it,
unknown pessimism is this level
exactly.
too. Yeah.
And that happens a lot through life. I thought about when you said that. That happens through working out, losing weight,
Yeah.
relationships, with everything. When you first meet someone, oh my God, this is the greatest thing ever. And then you realize, oh my God, they didn't text me today. All of a sudden, things just happen in life where that is like almost you can take that across every brush stroke of life.
Correct.
Yeah.
And I thought about how you did that, but that's the same thing in real estate. It's a 3-year grind. After 3 years, this is a very profitable business for you, and you can do it. Anyone can do it if
Nothing
they put the
happens
effort in.
overnight. You got to build everything that you do. So even whether it's work, whether it's the gym, you're eating stuff and trying to be better.
Just not doing it on camera
bit,
yet.
A little bit. If you put a little bit of cleaning up in it every
Yeah.
day.
Yep.
A week goes by.
Yeah.
2 weeks goes by. If I put a brick down and I put a brick down every day, I'll have a wall at the end of the week.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like you got to build the blocks. You got to build, and nothing good is going to come easy. Nothing happens overnight. Nothing's going to. You can't. Life's a marathon, not a race. You can't speed up the process. You have to go
Realistic
through the
expectations.
growth. Yes.
Wow.
You have to be honest to yourself with everything. And I think that's where we've all fall short on, right?
Yes.
We seem to believe our own nonsense sometimes.
Yeah. You can't lie to yourself.
And that's the thing. You have to. First of all, and it takes. Not everybody's going to be a CEO. Not everyone's going to own a company. Not everyone's going to be a top realtor. It takes grind, effort, and a lot of work to get there. There's it's kind of funny. You see all these people that someone owns a business and they're like, man, they owe me something, or they stuff like that. And there's an old adage, but I can't say it here because there's some swear words. But
You can't. You're good. We don't mark for kids. Go for it.
there's everyone says that you're getting screwed by these business owners and CEOs and all these billionaires. Well, you don't understand how many times they were effed to get to where they're at.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's just like a pregnant woman, right? Everyone looking happy at the moment, but you don't realize how many effing times it took
It's
to get
really
them there.
true. Yeah, it really is true.
And it's a lot of work, a lot of effort, a lot of stuff to put into it. And Johnny, you put a lot of time in. And here's my ask for all of us. At the end of the day, let's come up with an idea, and it could be a couple podcasts down of what change we're going to make today. One change, not 1,000, not different things, just what can we change today in ourselves? One small change that'll get us closer to where we want to be.
Closer to your goals.
It goes, and then what I want to do is come back in a couple, and we'll revisit this and see, hey guys, this was what I made a change on.
Yeah.
And I'll tell mine, just so, and you guys can think about yours. But mine is, I try to be all things to all people. I want to save the world. I really do. Unfortunately, it's not possible.
It's not possible.
And I overcommit to things. That's a failure and a fault on my side. So a big thing for me is to be a man of my word, and to come through for people that count on me. But also be honest with everybody that's around me as well, that these are my expectations or these are the things I can do. Like even I think about our conversation with someone that we knew, that currently, and I try to go back to like, what could I have said different to him to be in a little different spot, and I don't know if it was all him, if maybe gave him some higher expectation. So I'm trying to figure out how do I become a better version of myself that way. So I'm going to work on that. You know, and when I say something, I want to make sure because I've got.
It's
60
because you got a
things-
big heart, Jason. It all comes from the heart. And I
Yes.
see those qualities in you.
Yeah,
because
but-
you do a lot.
Yeah,
of
but
the
that
times.
heart's failing. Remember, at 55, they said you gotta. That's
Yeah.
why he's like, guys, I gotta stop my big heart because
But-
it's.
But for everybody though,
Yeah,
everybody,
no, I gotcha.
The biggest thing is follow through.
Yeah,
And that is it.
Yep.
Because you can say anything you want. You can put anything out in the world, right?
Correct.
But how many of us actually follow through with it?
Yeah.
And that's where I want to be. I want my strength there. So I'm going to make some small changes, some small steps, to make sure that every day I'm following through. I'm horrible at returning calls because, just so you see, I've got 25 calls and texts
Yeah.
and emails.
Yeah.
You text me up. I just got another
Yeah,
one
okay, yeah,
as we speak 2 minutes ago.
What do you got? What do you got? Now we're playing.
I
the who's
know,
got-
I
His
know,
phone is
I know.
crazy.
Look at
His
that.
phone, I've been
Look at
seeing
that.
I know.
that.
That's crazy.
It's not going to stop.
His phone just
Yeah.
lights up, not stop.
Yeah.
It's crazy. The problem is though, is that I try to put out the highest fires first.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, because that's where the stress level for me is. If I let this linger longer, it's going to get worse for me. And then I work down. So sometimes it's just a conversation with somebody, right?
Yep.
But if I've got 25 or 35 calls ahead of them, it's tough to, sometimes I just can't get to it.
Right. Right.
So I got to find a way to make it. so I can work
Systemization,
this.
man. Well, that's the
that
next
thing
step.
I told you. There's only 24 hours in a day, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So-
And so that's the greatest thing to learn. We'll talk about this, but it's a good point. The greatest thing in life to learn once you've hit your level is how to leverage.
Yeah.
Your way you need leverage like crazy. That's the biggest issue. You like you said, you only have 24 hours in a day. However,
can't buy
you
time.
can buy time.
Can't buy
you just
time.
buy other people's time. You can't buy personal time, but you can leverage systems and people, and that will gain you more time back. Because think about it, I've done this with real estate agents before. I said for every hour you call, I'm going to pay for another person to call alongside you. And then I'll pay for 2 if you do it for 2 hours. So that means that one person in a 2-hour period of time, because they had 2 other people's calling for them, they were doing 6 hours of prospecting.
That's
It all
just
went to
maximizing
them.
your time. You're not buying time,
It was buying other people's time to leverage it.
but you're not buying your time back.
No, that's correct. That's exactly 100%. You can never buy your own time. You can always buy leverage, though.
Yeah.
And that's how you maximize time through leverage, through systems. Like I think I showed you. Like AI answers my call all day long.
Yeah,
and
that's
it's
awesome.
it's cut down on all the spam calls and the people telling me that my car insurance is expired.
Yeah.
Man, do I hate
Your
those
car
people.
warranty is expired.
Oh my gosh, 6 times. But now their calls recorded. Please tell us why you're calling, and they all hang up. And the
Yeah.
people that really need to get a hold of me, if they're not my phone, they'll say it, and then I can press the button and answer it. I love it.
Yep.
But no, I love that, man. I love that challenge. In fact, I would challenge our audience too. What is something that you would want to change? And then from there, what step are you going to implement? And I think that you hit it right. A lot of times, we were reading a book, The One Thing by Gary Keller. I recommend it to everybody. A lot of times people, they'll go for this big goal. I'm going to lose 100 pounds in the next 30 days, right? That would be some people can do it. I guess there's a way I could do it. I just have to chop one of my legs off. But it's without doing that.
Don't do that.
Nice. Smart thinking. Shortcuts.
Yeah.
Talk about
Yeah.
shortcuts.
Yeah.
Why stop there?
But anyway, guys, fantastic conversation. Thank you so much. Before we go, there's one last thing that I wanted to do here. And Summer, I apologize. I'm going to have to put you on the spot for this.
Okay.
But our man over here says in the very beginning, one of his most humbling statements was, "Bro, I'm good at every sport ever invented, bro. I'll win everybody."
Oh.
So Summer and I are going to challenge you to a pickleball tournament. It'll be you and Jason versus Summer and I. You guys on?
On.
Do you play pickleball?
I've never played.
Will you
I
guys
knew
take
it.
the challenge?
I knew it. I said,
Oh, yeah.
this whole time I said, what sport could I pick that this guy doesn't
And
play?
we've got a pickleball court right across from my house.
Do
Like,
you?
literally, we can
There
walk
it is.
Perfect.
We're going to do it there.
Perfect.
Pickleball.
The weather's warming up.
That's the only sport, but it's obviously the new biggest sport.
Yeah,
Right? But
yeah.
growing up, I went like in school, football,
Yeah.
baseball.
No,
you,
we
you,
know
you
that.
can back
We know
out
that.
if you need to back
No,
out.
I
That's
don't
okay.
back out. I'll play.
Yeah,
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 no,
yeah.
I got
Fair.
the paddles. We got everything.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah.
play.
It's also going to be.
You're all set. I played racquetball for 30 years.
Did you?
Yeah,
Oh,
like
we'll
like
kick ass.
What?
I played competitively.
It's we're going to have it'll also be shirts and skins. We'll be the shirt side.
Okay.
And
Yeah, I guess I should warn you guys. I'm very, very, very athletic.
yeah, me too. You guys need to be
Very.
warned.
It looks like we're gonna.
Very
have
This would be
competitive.
awesome.
Yeah.
Also, there'll be just like we do everything on the show. There's going to be some extra stipulations that you just agreed to, so we appreciate that. But guys, our time is up. Summer.
What time is it? It's time to hit the lights, pulled a sign. We are ending Open House the podcast. Thank you,
Absolutely.
everybody.
Thanks, guys, for having us
Thanks
on. We
for having us
appreciate
on.
you.
Hello, and
Great job, guys.
The door is open, so come on in. Sound check done. Let's begin. Breaking news. The guest is you. Streaming live for you to view. Open House the podcast. Open House the podcast. Ooh. The door is open, so come on in. Sound check done, let's begin. Breaking news, the guest is you.